Collective, hey, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to be here with you always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at the energy for the upcoming week via the tarot, astrology, any channeled messages that come through. I'll also incorporate some Ayurvedic or holistic wellness practices that we can implement in order to enliven our optimal functioning mind, body, soul. So let's get into it. I apologize, I'm running a little bit behind. I was having some issues with my live stream. It's a never ending, I swear to God, it's just like perpetual Mercury retrograde over at my house. So hopefully everything's up and running. Let's just make sure. Okay, great. I was just making sure that we were all set up to go. Excuse me. So we're ending Leo season this week. There's been a lot going on. And it's really interesting kind of just the way Leo season builds and mounts. It is a lot about our self-empowerment. It's about letting our light shine, our uniqueness, who we are, what we bring to the table, and not really being afraid to kind of stand in our power, especially in places that we might be a little bit more subservient or kind of take, the sidestep or, put ourselves on the back burner, like not really allowing ourselves to have the accolades or the validation that we deserve. Leo season is all about changing that up and really tapping into our courage, our power, our strength, which isn't really always easy to do, especially when we are navigating a lot of different things, right? A lot of just challenges that really force us to put our money where our mouth is. We've been seeing that a lot lately in the collective. We just had that new moon solar eclipse last week in Leo, which solar eclipse, it's starting a new eclipse season, and solar eclipse deal with our external change. They deal with change in the environment or things that we know we need to change, things that we become very acutely aware of that are just no longer working for us anymore. And so we actually start taking action steps towards that change. But there's been a lot of tension as we're navigating. I mean, I don't want to be all doom and gloom because there's actually a lot of support that's helping us as well. But the support is mainly showing up in places that we're choosing to better ourselves, that we're choosing to grow, evolve, especially on those spiritual or more moral levels, right? Not choosing or buying into the baseline instincts of control, manipulation, trying to bend people towards our will, etc. Yes, that can happen easily, naturally during Leo season. It can also feel very satisfying, but we also want to make sure that we're kind of tempering that line of not taking advantage, right? Because we don't want people to take advantage of us, right? It is a mirror. It's a reflection. As above, so below, as within, so without. We do to others what we do to ourselves and vice versa. And that's why Leo season is about tapping into our power so that we can change how we're working certain dynamics. So we don't need to use control and manipulation tactics. We can actually just be good, authentic individuals that are saying, this is what I want, this is what works best for me. And hopefully that people will work with us, right? And if they don't, that's also that telltale sign. There is a lot of deconstruction of patterning that is happening, and it's not easy stuff. A lot of the stuff that's been showing up in our readings in the collective, in the astrology, is very much focused on patterns that have been around for a long effing time. And that's probably why some of this tension runs so deep. Our best friend right now is that Uranian energy where it's taking or seizing the opportunities to do things a little bit differently. Not succumb to the patterns of before, but actually using our mental, using our intellect to say hey, this didn't work in the past. Maybe there's a different way to show up. Maybe there's a different way to approach this. so I'm getting the results that I'm looking for, or so that it's actually showing that like the results that I'm looking for are not here, they're not present in this dynamic, and maybe I need to look for other opportunities. But none of that is easy, right? None of that is easy. What I do love about this week is we are closing out Leo season. I think like I'm ready. I should say I'm ready. Like the energy has just been wild lately. It's really interesting. I've been recommending this a lot on the channel lately. It's really interesting just to like watch people pop off. And there's been a lot of that happening. Just go people watch. You can see it on the road, you know, how people are driving and behaving and like kind of just like pushing their agenda or pushing people out of the way. It just is like, it's just been like a little bit low vibey lately, in my opinion. I don't know if it's just like what I'm engaging with or like what's coming up around me, but it is pretty hilarious, you know? And it's interesting too, like as I interact with people, situations, clients, friends, etc., like everyone's just like ready for it to be done. I'm definitely ready for it to be done. Virgo season gives us a little bit more balance. It allows us to focus on our health, our well-being. We're going into Virgo season next Sunday, so this is like our last full week-ish. And you know, here's the thing, it's good, right? Like we need to know where our empowerment lies. And then as we move into Virgo season, it helps us like establish and stabilize and ground that empowerment into our actual daily living. But Virgo's all about taking care of ourselves. So it's not about pushing or forcing the agenda. Fire Leo energies a little bit more in that vein. And as I was like, well, I'll talk about that after we do the blessing. Let's get into the blessing first before I go down another rabbit's hole. But I like to start off my readings with an energy cleansing just to set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. Cleanse out those places we might feel blocked or stuck in our own environment. It's a great time to set your own intention for the reading as well, especially if you've come into places where you really like spirit to deliver messages to you around certain situations, people, dynamics that you're navigating that feel a little hard to see clearly. Definitely give that over to spirit. Be open to receive. You can also skip ahead from the blessing. I put all the chapters down below, especially if it's not your vibe. If you're not interested, no worries at all. You'll still receive the good vibes, the good energy always. I also offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are interested in more of that rebalancing of self, alignment of your mind, your body, your soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. Because when we are aligned, when we're grounded in self, that really is where we're tapping into our happiness, our fulfillment, our abundance. You totally deserve that, and I would love to help support that for you in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. With that, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being, so we may see and understand the messages clearly. Help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels, Mama Love. All right, so as I was walking into this reading, as I was preparing for this reading, it was interesting. Like, the weather's been a little bit wild lately around here, and it started raining really hard, and I was hearing like when it rains it pours, and I don't know if this is like tension that you're coming into, or there's just like a lot of things that are coming up at once, or maybe it just feels like there's a lot coming up at once. I was hearing even before that message though, there's things that people, situations, dynamics are actively trying to like get at you around. Like people dynamics that are like actively trying to trip you up, or I don't know, just kind of mess with your action steps is what I was hearing. And not that it is like, not that you're necessarily tempted to succumb to that, because I do think there is a level of awareness that you do have around these certain things. But I do also feel like there's this level of like annoyance or frustration, or I don't really want to deal with this, or if I've done so much work, then why should I even have to be dealing with this anyway? You know, it feels like things that you've already learned and grown on from. But this has also kind of been a current theme. Like I feel like this kind of came through in one of our other readings. Interesting. Okay, so manifest comes up in the overarching energy. So, you know, here's the thing. Like, I think, especially in these kind of dynamics, when we really want certain change, excuse me, where did that go? It fell, but I'm not seeing it. I apologize. Okay, I'm not really sure what fell. I apologize. I'll post it when I find it after the reading. But yeah, what I'm hearing is it's kind of just like, you know, yes, there's always going to be things that get in the way that make us feel like that's the reason we can't move forward. That's the reason we can't manifest, or whatever that may be. But in reality, it's not necessarily authentically true. Yeah. I love this, the revolutionary. I think this is an energy that Spirit's really forcing you to tap into. Maybe force isn't the right word, because you do feel willing. You feel ready. You feel willing and ready. But it's almost like a lack of convenience, or a frustration, or annoyance. And that's where I was picking up that value of like, people, situations, dynamics, still kind of throwing things at you to see where you're at, or see what's going on with you, or how you're going to react, how you're going to respond. And that was that value of the rain coming in, right? Like when it rains, it pours. You can't necessarily escape from X, Y, and Z. And I don't know, like maybe it's just the way that that situation is playing out. In previous readings, we've also gotten that value of loose ends, like certain things just aren't ready to close out. And it is what it is. It's annoying in and of itself, but it doesn't mean to stop or to turn away, or like there still is this need to stay aware and present, but you don't have to become beholden by that energy. If anything, you can still utilize the tools that you have present in order to manifest something big. And it looks like you are. Like, I feel like actually what you want, separate from the frustration, the annoyance, is actually really beautiful and really empowered, and it's very much in alignment with you, i.e. where this revolutionary is coming into play. But you have to believe in yourself. And believing in yourself means that you're removing yourself from other people's manifestations, or what they want to manifest, how they want to see you react and respond to certain things, and what's actually like authentically true for you. It feels very separate from the people and situations, dynamics that you're dealing with present day. Even to the point that you do have to set yourself apart. Or whether Spirit's calling you to do that, or you just feel so inclined, you feel motivated to do that within self. Everyone's situation is going to be a little bit different. But it definitely is a call to rise above and to not be afraid to fight for the quote unquote little man. And I feel like that's you. Not that I'm calling you little, but I think that you're whatever you're kind of combating right now, it's people, it's dynamics that are trying to push you down or make you feel small or make you feel limited or make you feel like you don't have a voice or whatever that is. And I don't see you resonating with this. If anything, I see like you're over and done with this. You've risen above from this. You've moved on from it. But there still are these lingering energies that are trying to pull you back, pull you down. And that's where the revolutionary is playing out. It is going to take strength though. And we've been getting this a lot too. I don't know, man. Like, it's very interesting. I've been really, really interested in this Leo energy this season because I'm seeing the way that people are wanting to position themselves and empower themselves. I'm all about self-empowerment, but not at the detriment of others, not to put other people down. We don't need to belittle other people in order to feel good. If anything, that's like, if we're doing that to someone else, we're doing that to ourselves, you know? Or I don't know. I think that abundance actually comes through when we're able to acknowledge the beauty and the success and the vibrancy that other people are bringing to this world, because that's the energy that we're focusing on. And that's the energy that we're therefore manifesting, right? But there's also been a lot of background noise, and we're seeing this even in the astrology, in the collective, hence probably why I'm pointing out the tension, the negativity, the deficits a little bit more, because if we give it a little bit of room, if we give it a little bit of energy, then it's just going to expand, expand, expand. And that's exactly what I feel like you're trying intentionally to work against. But it's not an easy energy. It's not an energy that's just going to give you a hall pass, or like once you check someone up on something, or once you say something, or once you speak your truth. It's not like someone is going to just like bend over backwards and be okay with it. If anything, it feels like either people or situations are doubling down, or they're trying to make it that much harder for you, or whatever it may be, right? Everyone's situation is going to be a little bit different. I like this versatility. I think versatility is important right now. We need to make sure that we are diversifying, that we're not keeping our, like, we're not getting too sucked into like focusing on too many old things, right? Like, we're not letting that consume our time. But we also want to make sure that we're having new ventures, new opportunities lining up in front of us, that we're continuing to tap into what is to come, or investing in the energy of what is to come. I don't think it's easy, because it also feels like some of this past stuff is the loudest voices or people or situations that you're dealing with right now. And it's hard to tune out. The sovereign is in your blocked energy. I'm hearing this as like you keeping your peace, your sovereignty, not letting the kind of lower vibrational mechanisms get you down. But then also people like I was saying, like this feels like a doubling down energy. Like it out of arrogance and pride, which is definitely things that we're getting from Leo season. It's good to have pride in self, 100%. I'm never here to knock that. But yes, 100%. It makes it feel like it's more about something just doing it because they are bored, right? Like maybe they need something else to do with their time, or maybe they don't have enough going on, so they end up getting wrapped up in stuff that's just like, I don't know, it feels annoying for you. Or maybe this is just something that gets triggered within you that can feel a little bit overwhelming. I'm going to choose one more for what's actually serving us. What's working in our favor this week? What's the energy that we need to tap into? Okay, I like this. The Alchemist. I think it's really important. And we've also had this energy come up a lot. So it is that value, like I was talking about, of like really being able to detach, like not... A lot of the trickery that's coming around is in efforts to distract, is in efforts to kind of like pull you back into old patterns or get you to kind of like fulfill a certain role that's really not yours to fulfill anymore. These are things that people in situations are like actively trying to do. And that's why like strength is such a prominent focus, or the main focus this week, because you do have to keep that strength within yourself. Just as much as you are holding fast to your boundaries, what is right for you, so are other people and situations in your environment. All right, I'm going to pull up our charts. Sorry, I was on a different page. All right, let's see how this is playing out for us this week. So like I said, this week we're moving, well, end of the week, we're going to be moving into Virgo season, which I personally like because I think it's bringing much needed balance, much needed earth energy. Things have just been building. And like I was talking about earlier, we can see this accumulation. Thankfully, the transits don't get too heavy, too aggressive until the end of the week, which again, maybe is a little annoying because we're still going through it. But whatever you're connecting with this week, it's making you feel strong and empowered enough to continue to push forward. Like I'm hearing this, like I believe in myself. And I hear it as like, even though you have pushback from people who maybe have claimed power or put you down or kind of made you feel like smaller than them, it's not resonating as much anymore. It's not always easy to invest in self. I think that's actually like kind of more of a harder thing to do because it does take intention. It does take care. It also takes courage to not buy into like herd mentality. Herd mentality is definitely a huge theme right now as well, in the way that we're healing generational woundings or just places that we show up, that we want to be a part of the party, we want to be a part of the club. And yes, that's great. I'm all about community, but let's make choices that are like good community, right community. And it looks like whatever you are kind of coming into this week, you're ready for the change. You're ready for certain change because it's specifically connected to your happiness, to your peace. And I'm also hearing this 10 of Cups as your longevity. It's not just like an immediate or instant gratification. This is actually something that you've been thinking about, that you've been deliberating about for a long time. And again, places that you feel like it should be different. It should already be different, i.e. where that annoyance is coming into play. And we have the Emperor in your blocked energy. I'm not super surprised. This is Aries energy. This is something who's like really trying to have control. Specifically with that chess piece in his hand, this might even be someone who feels like they're playing a strategic game against you when in fact they're not, because your energy is very much like, no, I just want to be happy, right? Like it's as simple as that. I just want to be happy and good. And whatever this game or dynamic or like whatever power struggle or control you're trying to get me to buy into, it doesn't work. I don't know that this person is getting a lot, like is gaining a lot of momentum in that realm. I feel like they kind of think that they have some type of power and control and they're trying to flex. This feels like someone who is very much flexing or like, you know, oh yeah, well, that makes sense. 5 of Cups in reverse. This is someone who's saying like, well, now I have the power in my hands, so this is what I'm going to do to you. And it might just be an energy that's really trying or working very hard to like leave you out of things or make it known that you're like not a part of something or like you're not included or whatever. This is someone who does want to do a lot of rejecting. i.e. why this revolutionary energy is coming up. I'm hearing for you, it's because you are pushing against the grain, but then for them, it's them reacting to it. It's them reacting to like whatever you're not staying in line. And so now I'm going to do this to you. Right. And, you know, this feels like someone who might have some type of power in the moment, or that's why they know that they can do X, Y, and Z in order to make you feel not so good. And they're going to exercise that. And, you know, that's their choice. That's their choice. Knight of Wands, High Priestess, Queen of Wands, Page. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot of things. A lot of people. Let's get one more for the beginning of the week. We have Mars tensely aspected to Neptune. So this is like knowing better, right? Like when our fire, when our desired response, reactionary response gets the best of us. And intuitively, we know the right thing to do, but we might not take that route. We might not calm ourselves down enough. Venus is also tensely aspected to Neptune. So there might just be some very, I don't know, like it's easy to buy into our own illusions. It's easy to buy into the things that we're selling ourselves. And reaction right now is not the best. Mars is in Cancer, and so it's easy to take things personally. It's easy to kind of see things through this lens of like, well, they're doing this to me, so I'm going to do this to them type vibe. And that's exactly what you're getting with this Emperor energy. This feels like someone who's like not responding is using their action or how they're reacting as their communication tactic versus, you know, actually saying certain things to you. I don't know that I necessarily see this. I think this is like annoying and frustrating. And there are components of it that do hurt you, but I also see at the same time, you have enough going on that it's not making it that hard, right? Like you have enough distractions in your life right now that you don't have to necessarily fixate and focus on the things that something is trying to sell you, because it also feels like something that's not really true. Let me clarify that. Let's clarify this Emperor for us, beginning of the week. Like it looks like you're kind of doing your own thing. You're not necessarily bothered. Like I'm not saying it doesn't hurt your feelings, but again, there's a lot of movement that's happening, especially with this Wheel of Fortune. I see you like acknowledging, yes, this sucks. Yes, I hate that this person or dynamic is doing this. But at the same time, like I have these other options over here, and that's enough of a distraction. So I'm not going to get too sucked into like whatever game, situation, dynamic that someone is trying to pull you into. 8 of Pentacles. Lack of working together. 4 of Wands. Okay, why though? Why don't they want to work together? There's an opportunity for someone, but someone's not really taking it. They're not taking it because, yeah, change is happening. It's different. It's different now for them. I think they're having a really hard time showing up in this dynamic in a more authentic way, and so it keeps popping off as this Knight of Wands. This is someone who wants to embody the Emperor, but actually is not. They're not, like the Emperor is when like you have, it's the masculine, it's all masculinity in its balanced form. It's someone who's mastered all the different aspects of their masculinity and knows how to control. Yeah, like sometimes we want to be a-holes. Sometimes we do want to get back at people for being low vibey or whatever. But the Emperor's like, no, I'm not going to go down that road because I know that it really only gets me so far. And actually, if I choose this thing, it actually makes me a better person, or it's going to lead to more success. But when the Emperor is not in his highest form, then he does kind of ascribe to these low vibey things of control, manipulation. He uses his power to manipulate, to control, to be immature just because he knows how to do it, right? And this feels like someone who's falling back into certain patterns of their own, certain patterns that they haven't necessarily healed, maybe putting on this front that they do have their stuff together when in fact they don't, but they are trying to hide it from you. I don't know if you're, I don't know if you really care. Like, that's the thing. I see you seeing this. I see you acknowledging this, but I also see you kind of just being like, okay, and like, so then what, right? Like, what am I supposed to do with all of this? Knight of Wands. Yeah, there's a lot of fire. It's like fire against fire. And this does not surprise me because this is so much like how Leo season is faring out. And it's funny that we're getting more of the tension in the astrology at the end of Leo season because it's like, let me get those last digs in, you know? And that's what I was hearing, like, as I was like preparing for this reading or whatever. It's something who's like, or dynamics, like energies that are just not accepting the transition, the change, having a really hard time with that, and then fighting back at that, right? Like almost like doing everything that they can in order to fight back. And it's not easy. They're not relenting. Something is not relenting. And that's kind of where we see some of that tension and challenge mount and build as we're moving through the week. But again, I'm seeing this overall bird's eye perspective, like this ability within you to not get too heavily tied up into whatever this person or dynamic is trying to do. It is taking a lot of strength. It is taking a lot of fortitude within self. 10 of Wands. And it's also, I mean, like, and I think we're seeing this a little bit more as we hit midweek, specifically because Venus is tensely aspected to Saturn, which is in retrograde. Uranus is tensely aspected to the fortune point. And we do have a lot of other tension like sprinkled throughout. So it's like, I'm hearing like being reminded, right? Like being reminded of those triggers, being reminded of the things that you don't necessarily want to be reminded of, but it's hard not to. It's hard not to when people kind of keep going back to this bad behavior. And it's keeping something open and alive longer than maybe what it needs to be. It's making the work that you need to do that much harder. I just saw the Chariot, the 7 of Cups, as well as the 10 of Wands. It's making something a little bit more stressful. But I kind of feel like that's the goal, right? That's the goal of whomever, whatever this fire energy is. It could be a specific person. It could be a group of people. It could just be an energy that you're feeling in an environment where you're not valued, where you're not appreciated, and it's making it really hard to kind of like gauge where you're at or what you can expect, etc. So we have more coming up. I'm not surprised with this 6 of Cups energy. Like, it feels like something is laying it on thick, and then there's a little bit more, i.e. that like when it rains, it pours energy that I was picking up in the very beginning. I don't know. Maybe you're not going to be so, I don't know. Maybe this is not unexpected is what I heard, because it's like you're not going to be so moved by this. In some ways, there are some expectations. Ooh, but you have a new player that's coming in. Queen of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Someone asking for some type of friendship. This feels a little bit manipulative. I will clarify this. Okay, and the King of Cups. Very interesting. So you have some new people that are coming around. People that are, well, it feels like It feels like people, well, let me clarify before I say. I was going to say it feels like people that are connected to this Emperor energy. And maybe some of this is and some of this is not. So just take it how it fits, take it how it resonates. Not every message is going to resonate. You know, you might not have a bunch of people kind of like throwing different things at you. It might just be one person or one situation, but you're feeling it on a lot of different levels in your own life. Don't ever try to force something. Don't try to like, you know, I'm not about paranoia or fear-mongering or any of that stuff. It doesn't help any of us, right? We only want to take what really just truly resonates. But it does feel like something else is popping up. And I don't know. I don't feel like this is necessarily a good thing. Or it feels a little bit like something that's long waited, like hasn't really presented themselves in a while, and now it's popping up. So we have 7 of Pentacles. Yep, someone who's waited. 5 of Pentacles to present themselves, and the 7 of Swords. Yeah, yep. This is someone who's had a really hard time kind of like just making peace or understanding the choices that you've made. They want to present themselves. I don't know that I like the energy that they're coming forward with, because it's a lot of hiding energy. It's a lot of like, maybe once upon a time something could have been worked out, but where it stands, right, like too much time has passed, or like a conversation needed to be had before this and it's not being had. And now that it pops up, it looks a little suspicious. Like maybe it's something that you want. Maybe it's someone or something that you were friends with once upon a time. And it does look like someone who is offering that to you. I'm also seeing some questionable motives, or like you're questioning their motives. This might be someone that you don't trust, that you feel a little paranoid around, that again, like you could have been friends with once before, but now that life has changed, like either there just has been a disconnect, or like it's not it's not just someone you lost contact with. Like there does feel like there's a little bit of bad blood on some level. And so I think it's really hard to kind of see through who and what the motivations are. We get the Fool. We have, the Knight of Swords. I'm not surprised. So someone's proactively trying to push something towards a fresh start. And we have the 8 of Cups. There might even be a claim that like, let's not be so toxic anymore. Let's heal. Let's clear the air. Let's be a little bit healthier this next time around. I'm interested. I'm not sure that they're like taking a lot of ownership. Let's see. Are they taking ownership? I shouldn't project that. I should ask and see first. Let's see. Yeah, not really. Like yes and no. Like that's what it is. But that doesn't surprise me. That's kind of how the Queen of Wands is. She's, yes, will maybe own something that she needs to own, but then at the same time, she's going to defend what she needs to defend. So it has this energy of yes and no. Like you're getting something of what you want, but not really all of what you want. And it does feel like it comes with some type of stipulations. It also feels like I said, it comes under the guise of like, you're questioning why or who or why they're popping up at this moment in time. We have the King of Cups and the Ace of Wands. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy. Someone who's kind of feeling into the energy. This feels like an outside force. I don't feel like, let me just clarify. I don't think that they're directly connected to this. I don't think so. They might be kind of watching some of this happen in the background, though. Let's see who this is to you. Yeah, there's the Strength card. Interesting. Okay, 7 of Wands, Queen of Pentacles. This is someone who is a little bit nervous, to like come towards you. Someone who wants to, though. I feel like this is an energy that is kind of like wanting to, this isn't even about making amends. This is someone who's really attracted or really intrigued by you. And I feel like this kind of taps back into this manifestation card. I don't know if this is something that you are trying to manifest. If anything, this feels like a very superficial manifestation or something that kind of has like the outer shell, the surface value of what you are looking to manifest. Whether or not it has the depth, I'm not really sure. I think that's to be determined. Because this is someone who feels really emotional around how they position themselves to approach you. And I don't know, it doesn't really look like you've had a lot of interaction with them, or maybe this is something that like things haven't gotten off the ground, or it was just like, it was always kept at bay. And maybe there's something reigniting. Well, there's definitely something reigniting for them. It also looks like they listened to some bad advice from something. Perhaps they're coming in to talk to you a little bit about this. I'm feeling like a lot of overwhelm. I'm feeling like a lot of overwhelm from people that are in your environment. People not really knowing what to do or how to show up or what to say or like how to engage with you this week. And I feel like for you, I don't know, like I'm seeing it's a challenge. I'm seeing it's a struggle because again, you do have to stay really grounded in self. And I do think you're going to get an opportunity to do that as we transition into Virgo season. This feels like pushing towards the finish line. And I think in a lot of ways, like I'm seeing it or hearing it as like, it's just about not getting swept up into the drama, into the chaos, because there's a lot of different energies coming towards your way that are saying a lot of different things. It feels a little bit like a pinball machine, and you have to kind of self-regulate in order to know like exactly where to invest your energy. Again, where this manifestation comes into play. And I think this King of Cups has something for you. It's more interesting than the other energies that are on the table right now. I'll say that for sure. Also, someone who has something going on and maybe is not feeling really confident, maybe not feeling really steady within themselves. I also feel like this is some background noise energy that they've been listening to. Excuse me, specifically around you. And so it's been hard for them to kind of really see clearly within themselves. But again, this energy is all about alchemy, right? Like, yes, we can be stoic, we can be rigid, we can hold fast to our boundaries, which I do think is important on some level, especially as it relates to the energies that are sucking us dry or draining or not being very life-giving, right? But we want to make sure that we're being very aware of who and what those energies are so that we're actually utilizing this tool of alchemy, of manifestation for our highest and best. And that's where some of this versatility is coming into play. I think that like I'm seeing a lot of energy come towards you. And so it's like your job this week to really decipher again who's who and what's what. Because it does feel like there are some good things that are popping up, but also might feel a little bit like, really? Like, I don't know. I see you kind of questioning or maybe feeling just very overwhelmed by a lot of it. And so when the goodness does come up, it's harder to sift through because you're already not trusting or you're already feeling a little bit more on the defensive or like whatever it may be for you. But that's where kind of this, I think this versatility is really important, especially as we move towards the end of the week, because the end of the week is a little bit more tense, or we don't have as much support and the tension is very apparent. It's very much in our face. Specifically, we're seeing this with the moon that's in Capricorn, and it's tensely aspected to Mars. So Mars in Cancer is definitely about things being taken personally, or getting really emotional about places that we can't push things forward, or we're feeling blocked, limited, etc. And the moon in Capricorn is like, you got to work on yourself emotionally, right? Like Mars is kind of that energy of like, I don't really care to, right? Like I know best, and so I'm going to do what I need to do accordingly. And sometimes that works, sometimes that fits, but not right now. And I think Mars has been a little bit, I've been talking about this a lot at the channel, but Mars has been a little bit, taking a beating to the ego, right? Because it wants to see things done in a different way. Also, the sun is tensely aspected to the North Node. So our knee-jerk reaction is not to be like, oh, well, let me find like the higher perspective, the better perspective, the moral perspective, etc. It's more just like, no, if I have to say F you, I'm going to say F you type thing. And again, that's where like this versatility is really going to serve us well this week, making sure that regardless of what people, situations are trying to throw our way, because I am, like I said, seeing a lot of people operate out of emotion, out of frustration. There's that Seven of Swords. Even to the point of like, I'm hearing that for Seven of Swords for you is like keeping your cards close, because you don't want to be caught up in these repetitive cycles. We saw this Ten of Wands earlier, or Ten of Swords earlier, right? Where like some of these cycles are just the same thing over and over and over again, just packaged a little bit differently. And I feel like you're definitely seeing this or experiencing this with this Emperor energy. Maybe a little bit too with this King of Cups. I think the Queen of Wands like is selling it more than anyone else. It looks like some of these other energies are way more emotional as they're coming to you, and it's making it hard to like really decipher between like, do you really want this, or is this just coming out of your own desperation, validation, excuse me, need to be heard. But again, I feel like I'm seeing you specifically work on other things in the background with this versatility. And you might have to keep certain things close to your chest, i.e. not necessarily involving other people or dynamics, not in a way to hide or to manipulate or lie. I'm not about that here at this channel, but in a way that like you're not allowing everything to hang out just so people can utilize that against you. Right? This is just kind of keeping your plans, what you're doing buttoned up because you've been down this road before. And if you say X, Y, and Z, then you end up with certain results. And you've learned your lesson is what it looks like. You've learned your lesson and you're actually choosing to really establish yourself in self, to be more grounded, to not give the emotions, the drama, more of your energy versus the things that actually are good, the things that actually are inspiring you towards like amazing things, you know? What you're building and you're growing is very powerful. And it does take a lot of persistence, perseverance, commitment that you're putting in, that you're willing to put in. Maybe someone's having a hard time with that. I'm interested to see who this Queen of Pentacles is for you. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of like, because at the end of it, you're just kind of like, F it. That's how I see this Page of Wands energy. Like it's very much like, I don't want to have to deal with all of this. And this Queen of Pentacles lately, to me, it's Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn energy. But she just feels a little bit snooty. I don't know. The way that she's positioned, the way that she's kind of holding herself up. It's like, it feels like it just feels like you're dealing with a lot of energies in your environment that aren't really taking you into account. What you think, what you feel, how things affect you, etc. And also kind of expecting you to not, right? Like almost expecting you to bend over backwards. But that's also why this energy is coming up, to keep things close to your chest. Because I feel like people have to make their own mistakes, is how it's coming through. In the way that there's that Queen of Wands. In the way that, this is very interesting. Someone's telling someone what they need to do. Someone's, like, I was hearing like someone's unleashing their dogs, and I don't mean to call anyone a dog. It feels like an energy of like, I don't know if you have, like, you're dealing with a specific person and then they're trying to get other people to come around and see where you're at or feel the energy out, or, maybe they have someone come to you, a mutual friend, and it's like, oh, hey, this person is doing great and they want to connect. They really are interested. It's like someone else is doing their dirty work is what I'm picking up. And it doesn't feel like this is the first energy that's come towards you in this way. But now it's like someone's doubling down or like sending in the next person, So silly. So silly. But versus, i.e., this person, this dynamic doesn't want to completely concede. They don't want to be completely vulnerable. And so they're finding other people in dynamics or other ways to connect, other ways to communicate, to say what they want to say, whether it's via other people or via social media or behind the screen. And even if it were social media, it doesn't even feel like someone like you would readily know. Like it would be like a fake profile or, like doing, like they're not completely revealing themselves, but they're trying to get you to understand by other communication tactics, inadvertent communication. Why won't they just talk to the collective? Holding their ground is what I'm hearing. They're going, like, okay. They're going through it. Six of Swords, Six of Cups, the Sun. I don't feel like this person has enough courage. I feel like if anything, it's a little bit more like, again, they want you to come to them. They're trying to like throw out the bait, breadcrumb, or whatever via other tactics, other mechanisms. And this, again, is where it's difficult to have a certain level of strength, because it feels like no matter what you do or what boundaries you set or how committed to those things you are, you can't get away from it. And there's one after another kind of coming in to feed into this energy in a way that feels annoying, honestly. Maybe that's just how I'm picking it up, but I just get this energy of like, especially from you, it's like you've done this before, and shouldn't it be done and over with? And we're feeling a lot of this accumulation as we're leaving Leo season, that accumulation of fire, the frustration, the anger, the annoyance. It's easy to see people and situations popping off, etc. But again, that's where this versatility component is really going to serve you well, where you're not specifically, even if people and situations are trying to come and do a thing or get your attention or whatever it may be, you don't have to, right? Like, and the thing about versatility is it means, like, it's not that we don't have to pay attention to things of the past or things that are very important to us. But we don't necessarily have to give it so much weight, right? Like, we don't have to sit there and kind of pander to people's ego, what they want, especially when it's not in alignment with what we want, or there's other ways that can, like, things can be addressed without it being unhealthy. Soul connection, connect deeply with your soul and discover your true self. I feel like these are soul connections that you are dealing with, but also soul connections really teach us to connect with self. Why? It really does invite us to explore the question of why. Why is this happening? Why am I inviting this in? Why did I allow this in the past, etc.? What is this trying to teach me? How can I look at this a little bit deeper so that I'm not letting it directly affect or inhibit the things that I am trying to manifest? Reflect and listen. Reflection brings insight. Take time to listen to your inner voice. I think that's really important. And as much as we've been kind of seeing in the astrology that things are coming up to challenge us or to test us or however you want to see it, it's in the way that we can choose to release it. Like, things can test you and you can still overcome. It doesn't have to be this thing of like, oh my gosh, like I'm getting triggered and I have to go back into bad behavior or doing it in the way I was doing it before. If anything, it is to test our strength. It is a measure of how far you've come. And I feel like that's also like the thing that Spirit really wants you to see and reflect upon, like how far you've come. And listen to what your inner voice is saying, listening to what your intuition is saying around that. Because I think some of the things that are popping up are trying to dictate or bring us back into a time that isn't really resonant with you anymore. It's stuff that you've moved on from. It's stuff that you've grown on from. It's stuff that you're ready to leave behind. Clarity through stillness. Find clarity in stillness. Meditation unlocks your intuition. I think this is a little bit hard right now because of that Leo fire energy. We're all getting pumped up. We're all ready for some of this BS to be done and over with. And there are a lot of things closing out. I think we're going to see it as we transition through Virgo season into the fall in the northern hemisphere, summer in the southern hemisphere. Is that, or no, spring, sorry. Spring and fall. But those are seasons of harvest, of abundance, of planting seeds, of really kind of like re-regulating what we are carrying forward with us. And yes, I think a lot of times with the fire energy, with the Leo energy, we can just get so pumped up, so caught in the flow. And it ends up putting us in situations that can be a little bit dicey, that can be a little bit tricky. But a lot of the stuff that is being egged on within you is stuff that you've learned, that you've outgrown, that you're ready to stand strong in your power and combat from a powerful place. Not a place of subservience, not a place of allowing the triggerings to kind of take over or overwhelm. You've done better than that. And that is actually showing up in your blocked energy. If anything now, it's time to not be afraid of those things, those triggers, those people that are trying to get you, caught up in the emotion and the dynamics, the drama, etc. It's time to use that as a way to say like, no, I'm done and over with this. And I'm going to use it in a way to like help me manifest what I'm actually trying to go after and not necessarily succumb to the old. And I see you doing that. I see it's a hard effort. It's a hard effort this week. It's a hard won effort, but it is something that you're coming out on top from. So thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I always love to hear. Just say hey, share, and a little love, little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. Know that it blesses my heart. I super appreciate you, especially if you've made it this far in the reading. No, it help support me, the channel, all that we do here. And I so appreciate you. Sending love, blessings your way for the week. I will be live Thursday morning. And then I will be uploading videos throughout the week. Oh, hey girl, good to see you. Happy day. Hope you have a fabulous week. Thanks so much for joining always. I super appreciate you. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. I will talk to you soon. Have a great week.